Hi everybody, this is Donnie. I am back again today with another Plan With Me video using my Erin Condren and a kit from the Tasseled planner. I'm going to do something a little different this week. I'm going to do, of course, show you everything I'm using and all that, but I'm going to share with you, because it's my birthday week, I'm going to share with you my adoption story. First off, I'm going to show you these bow clips from the Creative Bee. The palm clips I had made myself. And I end up choosing a few of these to use. I also have this exceptionally gorgeous pin gem. Since it's my birthday, I gave myself a pin gem. This is a pink barrel. It was a collab I believe they did with Simply Gilded. And so it's a very special pin, new to me. I recently got it and it's perfect with this kit and all the colors of this kit. Don't you think? I think it looks great. And since it's my birthday week that I'm going to be filming, I decided I'm going to pull out all the stops, pull out all my favorite colors, all my favorite stickers. Sincerely Dee Designs, some of her digital stickers, some I've made myself. These from Sincerely Dee. And then a bunch that I made myself. I've shown in previous videos. That one up top is Sincerely Dee. An overlay. I might use some of those. I've made a whole bunch of things myself that I wanted to pull in. I will link the videos showing those in more detail. I've got, oh, that kit. I just love it. Anyway, here's some more foiled pieces that I've done. Y'all have probably seen these in the past. By the way, that script right there is called Freshka. I was asked what the name of that script was. I'm using date dots from Paper Crown Planner. And let's have a look at these Tasseled planner stickers. Aren't they gorgeous? I am in love with them. That's why I haven't used them. I hoard things. So I pulled everything out that I was hoarding. And a big thank you to Amy at Two Little Bow Babies for getting me interested in the Tasseled planner. As soon as she showed this particular kit, I was a goner. I stopped the video and I went and bought it. I looked on her website at the Tasseled planner and I did not see any more kits available, but the stickers that you'll see me use are available on her website. I believe this one was called Make-A-Wish, but it's a birthday kit. It's gonna be my birthday next week, so yeah, I decided to use it. I think it's absolutely exquisite. I thought so when I first saw it, and I still think so today. So I'm really excited to get to use that. Next, I'm going to pull down all of my washi tape that I just, think I can't live without. Oh, wait, there's more. Okay, Simply Gilded washi tape, all except for that little purple one right there. All from Simply Gilded. And I'd like to have anything I think I might use at hand. For sure, I'm using this gold one. The gold from the last subscription box. I've also got the collab she did with Jasenia Printables. Some of that gorgeous, is that confetti? Do we call that confetti? I don't know. And then the washi tape one. That is really cute. So, and of course the bows. We've got to have bows. So as I get started here, I'm not going to talk about what I'm doing. I'm going to be sharing with you my story. You'll be able to see what I'm doing, and if you're a planner girl and you've done this before, you will know what's going on. So let me share with you my adoption story. I call it a miracle from God. Of course, I don't remember because I was a baby, but I was told numerous times that I was adopted. That story of the stork carrying me to my mother and father was a part of my upbringing. I even have an oil painting of it made by a friend of my mother's. It's a purple stork carrying a baby through the air, but the hair of the baby was left undone until I had arrived. And as soon as that sweet dear friend of my mother's heard, she painted the baby's hair dark brown. The story that I was told is that their phone rang and announced that my new mother and father could come pick me up, that I had arrived and was ready. Well, they couldn't move fast enough. After they arrived home with me, my father went next door and knocked on the neighbor's door. "Come see what we have." Well, the neighbor said, "Nah, it's probably just a puppy." He was a crotchety old man. And my dad replied, "Oh, just come and see." So the older neighbors went to see. Stories like that were fascinating to me. I couldn't hear enough. As a small child, I remember always asking to hear more. I'd always been told I was adopted, so the word was always a part of me. 8 months after my birth, my mother and father had a baby themselves. My sister was only 8 months younger than me. We were so close in age, people thought we were twins. When asked, my mother would smile and say, "No, one is adopted." Well, they would smile and pat my sister on her blonde head and walk away. Remember, I'm dark-headed, and I looked very much like my mother and father. I can remember when the realization of the term adopted fully registered in my young mind. I had a different mother and father than those who were raising me, so more questions came to my mind. Who is my mother? Who is my father? Could so-and-so be my real mother? What about so-and-so? No, they were not my real mother or my birth mother, as I learned to refer to her. The mystery of my life had begun, and it wasn't to end anytime soon, and it kept me in its grip. I have to say that my story is a miracle. So many things over the years occurred where I see God's hand, where He kept me and where He blessed me. 1964 was a year that started out cold and snowy where I was born. The day I was born, it snowed. It was also a year that was during the time where an unwed mother was a serious social no-no. My younger years were full of playtime with my sister and later a brother. Our home was a typical house in a neighborhood, and my schooling was normal. But my mind and my heart thought countless times of an unknown girl. I had been told that her age was 18 and that my birth father was a year older. I only knew that she couldn't keep me. Still, I wanted to know more. The questions multiplied as I grew older. Whenever I heard the word adoption, I was all ears. In 7th grade, I did my research paper on adoption and found out that there were different types of adoption, private as well as open, etc. More questions. Mine was a private adoption through an agency in our large city. I figured that I'd never be able to find my real parents until I was older and could do so myself. My first year of high school brought about a number of changes. One was my hearing the gospel. God, before the earth was made, chose me to be one of His adopted children. I had never seen that in the Bible before, but there it was. I saw that those He loved and chose before the foundation of the world, He gave to Christ. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. For ye have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but ye have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. Romans 8:14 through 16. I graduated from high school in 1982, went to college and got a degree in 1986, immediately got married, and the next year had my first son. Out on my own, I still sought to find answers to my questions. Would I ever find my birth mother? By the time I had my second son, the questions were overwhelming me. Here I was with 2 wonderful sons, and I wanted to know if they looked like me. Did they look like my birth mother or birth father? In fact, who did I look like myself? Would I ever know? In 1993, I'd been reading in my Bible about those long passages of names, lineages, and how important the lineage of Jesus was to the chosen people of Israel and us. I couldn't help but pray about it and ask God to let me know my heritage. Finally, in June, I had come to a point where I asked God to take the overwhelming desire to know my birth parents away from me and to not let me think and obsess about it again unless it was time. And He did, for 6 months. In January of 1994, my sons and I had gone away for the holidays. Well, here's the miracle. I'd gone to another part of the house to be by myself when out of the blue those thoughts hit me again for the first time in months. Immediately I prayed and said, God, I asked you to take these thoughts and feelings away from me until it was time. As I turned around, a voice as clear as could be spoke to me in my right ear. It's time. His voice and words brought me joy and tears. Could it really be? No more question about it now. It was time. I looked up the phone number for the adoption agency. It was the weekend and a holiday, so I had to wait to call. It was the longest weekend of my life. I drove back to my own home on Monday, waited until the holiday was over, and then placed a phone call to the agency about 9 or so in the morning. A lady answered the phone. Coming up with words at this point was hard. I told her my name, asked her if I could find out any kind of information at all, or even send some information just in case someone ever called looking for me. She was so sweet. She told me that all she could do was look and see if my file contained a, quote, contact. Basically, if anyone had called within the past year looking. She would look and let me know. If no one had made contact in the past year, she would have to look on her microfilm files and get back to me later. That ages me, doesn't it? So I was put on hold on the phone while she went to look up my file. You know when you're hoping, expecting something big, and you try to talk yourself out of it? I was trying to think of the next question I would have when she told me that there had been no contact. I was still on hold, thinking and trying not to be emotional, when she came back on the phone. The next words she spoke changed my life. Donnie, are you sitting down? Yes, I replied, shaking all over. She said, your birth mother called here 3 weeks ago, and I was the one who spoke with her. I asked her, please, can you call her and let her know I've made contact too? I want to meet her if she wants to meet me. What do I do next? I couldn't believe it. Praise you, Lord, you did it. Over the next week, she did call her back, and my birth mother wanted to meet me too. We each had to fax signed forms to the agency, and each had to meet with a counselor. It was a week of joy. The counselors set up our meeting each other, first over the phone, with my birth mother calling me at a certain time. Oh, what precious hours we had. Getting to know each other, I'll never forget it. All the questions I'd wondered about were answered. And then we met in person. My birth mother, Connie K., drove to where I lived and arrived in the afternoon. I remember peeking out the front door window at this pretty lady walking up to my door. Was that really my very own mother? I opened the door and we just hugged tight for a long time, and we cried and cried. Oh, what bliss to be held by my very own mother for the first time, and loved instantly just because mothers love their children. You know what? She had not been told that I was a girl when I was born. They just took me away. But she had a feeling that I was a girl all that time. I was 30 years old that special January. I have her voice. In fact, I sound just like her. If you're listening to this right now, you know that I'll tell you, it's not my voice I'm hearing her voice. I look just like her too. It was a picture she brought with her of herself at the age of 18 that cemented in my mind for me that she was my mother. I looked at the picture of her and knew, because I looked just like her at that age, there was no doubt. She and I were very close for the rest of her life. There were numerous times I would pick up the phone to call her and it would ring in my hand, and it was her. Sometimes we would just talk for hours, sometimes for just a few minutes, but it seemed like we always had to cry. We were both instantly teary when we discussed the miracle. And even though we didn't visit in person a lot, I'd have to say that we were very close. She would call me on my birthday, and she would sing happy birthday to me in tears. It was so special to me. She got to see my sons, her grandsons, grow up. We shared so many of the same interests: sewing, embroidery, crochet. Her lovely stitch works are some of my most prized possessions. We loved the same TV shows and had to catch up on so many things. She told me stories of her youth, and she told me about my birth father. I never got to meet him because he had passed away before we found each other, but someday I'll see him. This precious gift of knowing has made my life full and complete. I tell people it's like I was raised on the second floor of a house that had locked doors. I could only know the people on the second floor, but not those on the first. But I knew people I belonged to were on that first floor. No glimpses of them were allowed, and no information was given. But when God unlocked the doors, He gave me the freedom to know and to have the answers to my questions and the love of my mother. I will always be grateful to my adoptive parents for raising me and taking care of me and for the sacrifices that they gave. God placed me with them for a purpose, and that purpose was fulfilled. My love for them was never diminished just because I found my birth mother and had a relationship with her. It's like when you have more than one child, your heart just opens up and loves more and more as each one is added. You don't lose love for the first one just because you had a second. The care I was shown while being raised was obvious to my birth mother as well as my birth father's families. Each side have asked me to tell my parents that they were so thankful to them for raising me when they couldn't. Looking back now at age 55, I wouldn't change a thing. I was given a gift, and I wouldn't do anything to make things different. My birth mother was grieving over losing me, and I was grieving not knowing her. God healed us both with this precious gift. My sweet birth mother passed away almost 9 years ago of cancer. I was with her for the last 2 weeks, staying by her side the whole time. She passed away looking at me, her one and only child. And I'll always cherish that fact. She also believed in Jesus Christ for her salvation, and that is my comfort. But thou art he that took me out of the womb. Thou didst make me hope when I was upon my mother's breast. I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. Psalm 22, 9 through 10. How great are your works, O Lord! How profound your thoughts. Psalm 92, 5. I will sing unto the Lord because he hath dealt bountifully with me. Psalm 13, 6. I may not be famous, and I may not ever do anything to solve the problems in this world, but there are a few things I do know. Jesus really does save us from our sin, which is the whole reason he died on the cross, and the faith to believe that is a gift from God. No one can change that, nor earn their way to heaven with the things they do. God is still doing miracles, and God bringing my birth mother into my life is one of them. Not a soul on this earth can change that, or turn it into something wrong or bad, however hard they might try. My prayer is that you'll be blessed by my story. it seems strange to read that to you. I wrote it all down on a blog post many years ago. I still have that blog. It's Faith Grace Crafts on Blogger, and I call that my adoption story, A Miracle from God. It's there if you want to actually read it, and if you want to see the pictures. I will put that link down below just in case you'd like to see that. The years that have followed finding her have been very difficult. I was estranged from my adoptive family because of this. I would still, however, not change a thing. I actually am extremely happy, even though they chose what they chose to do. It's difficult sometimes. There are memories, of course, memories of all kinds of wonderful things, but there's memories of a lot of things that weren't so great, and we all have those. I think that's what we always call the skeletons in the closet. Who knows? Anyway, I believe honestly that all of those things were a part of who I am, a part of my life, so that I am who I am today. I don't begrudge anything. I don't feel as if I've lost. If anything, I am the one who has gained the most. They're the ones who've lost. So, if you have questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer. I also have been able to share my story in a number of places, mostly on the internet. But I think this is the first time that I've actually shared my story on a Plan With Me video. So, anyway, let's go back to the Plan With Me video, and you'll see me using the Two Little Bow Babies sticker sheet that I got with one of my orders. I hoard these. They're so cute. But because this is such a special week, it's been 25 years since God put my birth mother and I together. And that's why I shared my story. It's a quarter of a century ago. But it was a special kit, and those are, to me, they're the prettiest little stickers I've seen. So if you wonder why I like pastels and pretty colors, I guess ask my birth mother, because she did too. One glaringly obvious difference in our likes, which were not always the same, was she loved the color aqua. And if you have watched any of my videos, I'm pretty out there about how much I dislike the color aqua. I have tried to embrace it. I have used it a time or two, and I still just don't like it. So anyway, I do find that humorous. We both laughed about it because I thought, well, if there's one thing we don't like, you know, that's the only thing I can think of. It's funny because when my husband heard her voice for the first time, he was shocked. He could not believe that that was my mother and that how much I sounded like her. And I was always really excited to know that my voice was her voice. I never did like my voice as a kid. When I was growing up, I just didn't like it. And I didn't have anything to compare it to. But when I met her, I learned to like it because it was hers. And I may not love it, but I know when I hear her in my voice, it's a warm memory. All I've done basically with the rest of this is decorated it a little bit with some of those pretty stickers. This pretty little pink bow put on my birthday. I was born on the 17th of January in a snowstorm. And I'll just finish it up, I guess, showing you that. Oh, and the overlays. Of course, we can't forget the overlays. There are only a few boxes in the kit that did not have foiling on them. So I went ahead and I pulled out some of my overlays that I'd made. These are the little, just the corners. I foiled a number of sheets in different color foils. This one's in gold, of course. Try to decide which box to put them on. So I'd put those little corners on the first box. And then I went back to the sheet from Sincerely Dee Designs and I chose the heart overlay. Just a little something for each of the boxes so that they'll each have a little bit of foil. That birthday cake was the other one. I wish that Tasseled Planner would make pretty kits like this again, or release this one again maybe. I would love to have another one. I'd like to use it again for my grandson's birthday in March. Would love that. Since I'd made that one myself, I had to be careful how I pulled the sticker up because I was having problems as I made some of these. My silhouette machine and I were fighting that week, I think. But it did come up, and I thought those bows were perfect, just in those two corners. I like to push an overlay that's big like that down hard so that it doesn't have that white foggy look behind it. I'm going to bring over my pin gem and the bow clips and decide which bow clips I wanted to use and which palm clip I was going to use. Sometimes I just use one and sometimes I use two of the bow clips, and I put them on the right hand side because they have a back to them that's just plain, it's not glittered. And then I use the palm on the left side of the page because it looks fine both directions. So if the book is closed or open, it'll look fine. I ended up with the blue and the holographic pink. The glitter on that is almost hollow, and I thought that looked really nice with the kit this week. I put the bow clips on either side so that when I close the book, the palm will go between them. And, of course, that gorgeous pin gem pin. I love that thing. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I hope you enjoyed hearing my story. I appreciate you sitting and listening. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I appreciate that I was able to have the story to tell. I'll go through slow motion here and show the final outcome of the Plan With Me. And of course my birthday. I just love the foil. Whoever thought to put foiling on sticker kits, thank you. It's now become my obsession. And you know that commercial on TV with Flo, and Flo's sister is sitting on an exercise bicycle and saying something like, "Exercise is my passion." I just recently saw a planner girl put, "Planning is my passion," and all I can think of is Flo's sister going, "Planning is my passion." I love that. I hope it's your passion as well. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate each of you, and I've enjoyed making these videos for y'all. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Take care. Bye-bye.